Hello, I am now 17 days post-op from my ACDF surgery of the C5 and C6. Have had a very good week this week. First 2 weeks were pretty much as expected because I was told to anticipate pain and sitting down a lot, on ice a lot. But this week has just been really encouraging and good. So first of all, let me show you my incision site. It isn't too scary looking. After a week, I took the bandage off, being a bad patient, because it was so itchy and gooey, and they told me to keep it on for 2 weeks, but I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I took the bandage off and started nursing it myself, figuring I knew how to handle wound care if I could handle wounds on people for several years as a nurse. So the physician's assistant wasn't too surprised, and he said it was healing very nicely when he saw me on Monday this week, when I should have been taking the bandage off. So I didn't do any damage to my incision site. No infection or anything like that. So pretty soon I'll get to put on some Mederma on it, and there may be a scar there, but because he put the incision in kind of a fold in my neck naturally, it's not going to show too bad. So, and even if it does show, our scars tell our stories in more than ways than one. So I can use it as a avenue of sharing my story about how I had the surgery, and because of the Lord, I was able to get through it and not be discouraged, and I was able to be healed from the pain that I've been experiencing for over 4 years. And so many have been asking me, how is the pain? How are things coming along? And I'm happy to report I'm down to just Tylenol twice a day, and still taking muscle relaxants, but only twice a day too. I've cut out my afternoon muscle relaxant just because I'm trying to just wean off of all these medications so I can live a drug-free life again. It has been many years. I'm not allowed to take anything anti-inflammatory, so unfortunately any aches and pains just because of my aging and getting active again, I have to endure, because the inflammation is natural for the fusion process to take place between the two bones that they have screwed together in my neck. And so for at least 3 months, nothing, not even ibuprofen, Celebrex, even supplements that are anti-inflammatory, they will not let me take any of that, just because it gives the bones the best chance to fuse together quickly. And that's what the goal is, so that they will naturally be together and there won't be any movement there to cause me any more pain. And the disc is completely gone and filled in with the cadaver bone and the other material. And unfortunately, they didn't have to put a titanium plate over it. It's called low profile fusion. So I have less metal in my head and less bulk there to possibly feel when I swallow. So swallowing is more or less normal. I have a little bit of inflammation according to the x-rays they took a few days ago on my post-op visit. He said that is completely normal, and the rest of the inflammation should be gone in another month when I go back and get another x-ray at my 6 week. Sorry, I got interrupted by one of many phone calls that I get all the time. So I'm looking forward to more activity now that I've had my post-op visit and gotten cleared. They said 25-pound weight limit. I'm trying to keep it under that for the most part, just because I do feel a little bit of straining muscularly. My muscles aren't used to that kind of lifting at all in my neck. So if I do lift, it's going to be like right up against my body, like a laundry basket or a couple bags of groceries. I just try not to do it like bending over lifting or anything that strains these right away. I want to kind of work gently into it, because like I said, can't take anything anti-inflammatory if it gets inflamed. All I get is ice packs and things like that, or a hot shower in the morning to kind of relax the stiff muscles from the inflammation. Try to drink a lot of water, just do a lot of natural things that are helpful for inflammation, but I can't do anything kind of other than that medically. So been out and about. I'm walking average of 2 miles a day when I can get out and walk. If not, I'm just being active, doing light cleaning again in the house. I can vacuum, sweep, mop, cook meals for my family again, which they really missed, even though for over 3 weeks we had wonderful, wonderful people bringing us meals nonstop. I never had to cook anything in the kitchen. And my kids have stepped in there and done more housework than usual, taking care of their special needs little sister to the point where they were bathing her, changing her diaper, putting her to bed at night so I didn't have to go up and down stairs. And even lean over to kiss her goodnight was painful there for the first week or two. Just all of those different things they did for me. And for the ages they are superheroes. And I'm just so thankful for them and their willingness to serve me. And the adults in my life who just given so many rides to my kids, from teachers' aides to friends of family members to people who I barely even knew, who was connected through other people I knew, that just came in and gave rides to my children, to therapies, back from school every day, and to activities and church. And it was just unreal the amount of people driving in and out of our house. Some days there were 5 different rides arranged a given day for my kids, and sometimes even for me to come along and go to doctor's visits and things like that with them. For the most part, I was homebound for 2 weeks. It drove me crazy. So if I did run into any adult, I talked their ear off because I just had to be around an adult every once in a while. But I did enjoy time with my kids when they were able to serve me and take care of me and let me actually sit, which was really strange. I'm not a sitter at all. So to sit in a chair in a recliner with an ice pack on my head and be looking at my phone or watching a movie that I didn't even know how to use my TV until the last couple weeks ago because I never watched television. And do schoolwork with them just sitting next to me in the chair so I could recline and rest my head with my big old fat neck brace on. That's another thing. That neck brace came off on Monday and I wanted to kick it to the curb, but I've heard they're very expensive with insurance. So I'm going to put it in a closet just in case I'm going to need a neck brace again in the future, or another family member for that part, because they could be upwards of $200. So the neck brace is going to stay around for a while. Let's see, as a result of the surgery, I have gained a lot of strength back, coordination almost instantly. First thing I said out of surgery, which I don't remember, but I said, I have my voice. And I was just so excited to be able to speak and not be short of breath. My vocal cords were not paralyzed at all. And even though I had a sore throat, I still had a voice immediately. I didn't talk much for the first couple days because it actually hurt because of the swallowing and all that. There was a lot of swelling, which was expected, so I lived off of popsicles and just really smooth foods and was very careful to chew and swallow because it would get stuck, because it's just like the esophagus was like constricted. But now about all I have is every once in a while I kind of get a little lump in my throat, or I lean over after eating and maybe feel kind of something tightening. But I've been told that is completely normal. I was told that I'm above the curve of healing, just because of my age and my health. So that was very encouraging, that I have less pain than the average person after a single level fusion. I was slightly surprised because I've probably been pushing myself a little more than I should without having any other adults in the house for the most part. Those of you who don't know my husband, he's a farmer and he works averaging 90 hours a week this time of year. Most of the year he works almost twice as much as any full-time employee. So because of that, he's not around very often. He tries to get home to see some of the kids before they go to bed at night. And so because of that, I was kind of on my own and had a neighbor on call next door in case there was an emergency and I needed to get somewhere, get a kid somewhere driving, since I could not drive. So that was taken care of, and we had all of those needs available, to be met if the case came about. So we were very thankful for that. We had cards, letters, packages, just so many encouraging things come our way, and I know that there are many, many people out there who care. And it's not like I was at death's door and was in the hospital for weeks or anything, getting treatments. I did have a significant surgery, but people really stepped in with compassion, seeing our family situation and our needs that we have, and they just stepped in and took care of it. And it was such a blessing. I know I could never have gotten through this recovery, at least not easily at all, without all of you guys who've been there. And most of all, and the very most important thing of all, I know that our family and I were covered in prayer. I just never remember a discouraging day through the whole recovery process. I have about one more month where I have to be careful what I lift. No jerking movements, no pulling and things like that. Nothing extreme, nothing to get me out of the usual just like exerting energy. Like I can't go do aerobics yet or go for a run, but I have been told I can do a gentle bike ride down the road with my kids, continue walking, I can do things like gardening and cleaning in the house, just no lifting furniture or digging with a shovel, of course, but that's what I have my boys for, and that's what they love to step in and do anyway, because that's them in their element, is being tough and rough big boys. So I think that from here on out, being able to drive and do the things that they cannot do will keep our family functioning and working really well. So we don't have as many needs at all as what we had for the first couple weeks after surgery. So with that being said, I guess I should show you guys how strong I am now, if I can lift some things, but my hands have, I would say about 90% of the coordination back. When I get exerted and stuff, I can still get a little bit of coordination issues wrong with my right hand, but my handwriting is back to as beautiful as it was. Again, my kids can understand when I write. I can type, I can text, I can pick up bottles and pills easily again like I used to. Just all those functions are back. My wrist strength is back. My biceps are back. I can, use them normally again. And the stiffness and tightness that was back here is more or less gone. The only pain that remains is just muscular pain just from the stretching. And it's a different kind of pain. It's not that tight, stretching, tearing pain that I had for years, that I was constantly massaging and trying to take care of. It's just kind of a deep pain that just gets a little less every day. Waking up to it is not bad at all like it used to be. I can wake up and I don't have pain until I start like moving and getting ready for the morning, and then I realize that ache is still there, but nothing at all compared to what was there before. And I've been told that in time that will more or less completely go away. I'm hoping to even be off of Tylenol and anything topical pretty soon. So as long as I don't overdo it, that's the main thing. But thank you so much for your prayers. Thank you for your support and encouragement. For people who I don't even know their names, who have approached me and just asked how I'm doing. It's just such a blessing to know. I don't know how many people said I was on their church's prayer list for my surgery, and it was just so humbling to know that so many people cared who didn't even know who I was. If you do not have a church family, if you are not a follower of Christ, I don't know how you would get through a surgery like this with as much hope and encouragement and feeling like your needs were met. Because not only having a relationship with Christ gives you on the inside that strength that you need to endure the fear of getting through the surgery, of what could and couldn't happen, of the results you may or may not have, just the peace that I had going into it. I remember I was laughing as they put me to sleep because I was having conversation with the nurses who were joking with me. And I know that could never have been possible without the Holy Spirit residing in me as a believer in Jesus. And having a family of Christians surrounding me, just like a wall. Knowing that I say the word and a need would be met. Not having that, I just can't imagine how hopeless that would feel, and with a family that we have and in the circumstances we were in, not having that community there to jump in and help. I just can't describe it. And so if you have not yet placed your faith in Christ, if you have and don't yet have a family of believers who are like that, seek them out. Because when needs arise like the needs our family have had, I just can't imagine going through it without that hope and without that provision. And so, that being said, thank you for following and listening to my rant and rabble. I probably need to get around an adult again pretty soon because I'm talking my ear off to a phone in my face. So, blessings to you all. Thank you again for your support and encouragement. And I hope to be back up and running at full capacity here very soon. And we'll see you around.